don't expect men to do anything for you.
I'm a little bit of a different case. The only relationships I've been in were not good ones. Right. So I've never been with a great man that was a leader that I could trust, that I felt safe with. That's not my story.
Right.
So, and especially I just had my 40th birthday, so I'm thinking a lot about these things. Like, the kid thing, obviously I'm running out of time. I don't want a kid for the sake of having a kid, but I could, if I found the right man that I'd want to have a family with, but my experiences with men are very negative. So I automatically have trauma responses come out.
What's the likelihood that the right man who wants to settle down and has want to have kids with you holds a traditional system of thinking and will expect that played out in the relationship?
What are the chances that that's the kind of man that would choose me?
Not choose you, but
What do you mean?
if there was a man out there who is likely going to want children and a family, isn't it more likely that they're going to hold a traditional mindset, right? So that's why Brian's asking, like, you pick and choose where you want the tradition to come in, like chivalry and paying for dinner, and we're asking, well, what's the trade-off if you're not, what's equal to that for the woman?
I get what you're saying.
From that view.
So just recently, I went on a few dates with a Nigerian man, and very traditional, but his idea.
Do you know the way?
No. Sorry, go ahead.
His
You're like, it sounds just like him. You're like,
New York City. Do you know the way?
So I think the problem is a lot of men mistake tradition with power, and they mistake money for power. So a lot of times men will, if they're taking care of you financially or whatever, like this was a conversation I had on the date with him, that I would never have to do anything. He would take care of everything. But if I wanted to go out with my friends on a Friday night and he said he didn't want me to, that I just can't go and I can't ask any questions. I'm not the type to be controlled.
W. Good for him. Controlled? Why is it controlling?
Because you're telling me what to do.
And you're not married to him.
So?
Not for me.
There's no commitment.
What?
Even if there is.
There's no marriage commitment or contract.
Well, yeah, obviously,
so,
if you're not married, there's no marriage commitment.
Right. Well,
but you can still be committed to somebody and be in a relationship with them.
What?
Yeah.
Well, coming from a Christian standpoint, there is no commitment.
Okay, so just to be clear, you said you've been married for 18 years? Mm-hmm. Okay, and how long were you, before you got married, how long were you dating him?
2 years.
Okay,
we dated
so just
2
to be
years
clear,
total, so we dated for a year.
If you slept with somebody else during that 2 year period, it wouldn't have been cheating because there wasn't commitment?
No, it would have been.
But I thought that, hold on, but you just said there can't be commitment absent marriage.
Well, you were speaking of her situation. She was not married to, right, you weren't married to him.
Mm-mm.
But, so?
Well, marriage is between a man and a woman, and that's a commitment. That's what I was referring to. And so if she's not committed to her partner, then it's almost like confusing, and like she's her own person in a sense. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So like anybody who's in a relationship but they're not married, they can just sleep with other people then.
That's pretty much what they do.
But there's also a difference between
even do when they're married.
People are in relationships all the time, and they're
that's not happening. No, but there's also a difference between being in a relationship and dating, while like courting somebody. Like in that situation where you're saying, you go out on a date with the guy, or whatever, he's courting you. He's showing you the value that you would have as his wife. He's showing you like in other ways, like that he will take care of you. Like these are. You make the face, but these are traditional things. Yeah. Like, it's true. Like, he's courting. So, yeah.
I want to ask you.
But, okay, this all stemmed from you were dating this guy. How long were you dating him?
The Nigerian man?
Yeah.
We went on like 3 dates.
So they weren't in a relationship.
I was thinking y'all were cohabiting.
Yeah, it might be a little soon.
Oh, okay.
God, no.
If it was like
no,
I
was asking questions like this from jump.
Oh, wow.
So I don't guys don't usually last long with me because I figure out who people are very quickly.
Do you think it's a possibility that a good man could love you well enough to where you'd put your guard down and
Yes.
allow him?
Yes.
What would he have to do to showcase that he is loving, trustworthy, etc., to make you put your guard down?
Consistency. That is the number one when people ask me all the time, why are you still single? Why are you still single? I have not found a man that I am also interested in that has been consistent. So
What
if
does that
you're
mean? What do you mean?
consistently show up, consistently text me, consistently plan dates, consistently be a good person, consistently have integrity, consistently show up as the same person day in and day out.
Are you consistent in
Yeah.
how you show up for a partner?
Very much.
How so?
Well, I haven't had a partner.
Well, like when you did have a partner.
I can't answer that because I wasn't sober. I haven't been in a relationship since I've been sober.
Wait. Oh, okay. You said you did date a guy for 3 years, but
I wasn't sober. That was before I got clean.
what
okay.
what was your poison?
Alcohol and drugs, opiates.
Opiates. Okay. What
Do
is-
you
I mean everything, but if I had to choose.
do you feel like the area you live in also contributes to like the dating pool? Like I know you said you lived in Hollywood, and like if from what I hear, like it's hard to date in Hollywood.
Well, I'm also from Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. That's a town of 30,000 people. So
Fond du Lac.
then I moved to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. That's bigger, but also very segregated. That was a big reason why I left. So I have not been in, yes, I have not necessarily been in positions to find great men to date.
Maybe you should go to another country. Because, I mean, I'm just telling you,
anyway.
like, the traditional is, like, there is no traditionalism here. Like, guys are so feminine. I mean, even if they make a lot of money, they still feel like the woman should contribute just as much financially.
100% agree.
But also, like, do all the submissive
100%
things.
agree.
And so, like, yeah, I tell people, like, my friends who are like, you know, girl, I just, like, cannot find someone, even at, like, these conservative events that we go to. I'm like, girl, maybe try going out of the country.
It's not that
It
much of
worked
a
for me.
priority. It's not that much of a priority for me.
Where are you like finding, like, where did you find your past boyfriends? Like, how'd you meet them?
She had one, right? And
No, I had 4 serious relationships.
But you were on meth, or wait, what was it?
I was
Sorry,
not on
opiates?
meth.
Oh my God.
What's some examples?
Opiates
of
is like
opiates?
heroin, Oxycontin,
Oh,
Percocet.
okay.
Downers.
Yeah,
Probably-
downers.
Are those worse than meth?
I
Hey,
mean,
they're 2 totally different things.
Or wait,
Worse in
Meth
different
will
ways.
do.
Worse than-
Meth will have longer term psychosis, but opiates have a greater risk of killing you.
Yeah.
got it. Okay.
you could die from withdrawals of alcohol and heroin.
So look, I want to
You
bring
can't
it
from
back.
heroin.
I want to bring it to this.
You can't.
Bring it back to the bullet thing. Me and Jim Bob probably disagree on this, but should men be willing to sacrifice their life for their girlfriend or wife? Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think they should do it. Anyone disagree?
You don't think so?
No.
Why wouldn't you?
Oh, there's plenty of reasons. So let's say in the example, we have kids together. Well, I'm gonna be better suited to financially provide for the kids. And then what's the other reason? Oh, like single dads are better than single moms. So
Do you think you'll find a wife with that kind of mind state?
why
think
would
he
that?
wants one.
Why would that? Well, yeah, that's
if
true.
that's
I don't
even your
wanna
goal.
get married. I don't wanna
Right.
get
If
married,
that's
but-
even your goal. Right.
Yeah.
That comes first.
But like, if you were in a situation where you knew, like if you put yourself in front of your wife that you were going to block her from being hurt or killed, would you do it?
I would use her as a shield, a meat shield.
Well, this is
No, I can't believe that.
well, this is
So this is like the feminine man.
Oh yeah, like wow.
This assumes
my
you know the
goodness.
outcome, though. So, like, the question ends up being, is there any relationship you'd be willing to risk that you might get hurt or even death, but you don't know you're going to, that you would actually take the risk? It could be even saving someone's life, and not in a situation where you're even getting shot. Like swimming out, 50 yards to save someone.
Yeah, Brian, would you do it for your mother?
Would I do it for my mother? I'd be more likely to do it for my mother than my my girlfriend or wife.
Wait, I
I
have a
believe you
question.
called her a flesh of meat.
Meat
Would your
shield.
dad have
Meat
felt that way
shield.
about your mom?
Specific.
Oh, my dad would probably take the bullet, but why are we so I just weird, like why
I have a
should men
question.
sacrifice their life for women? Why?
I have a
like make
question,
an
though.
actual argument for why.
Okay, I will after this question.
Okay.
So what's the order for you? Like wife, mom, kids?
It's probably like children, parents,
Bro.
wife.
Oh,
Wow.
Because you think should it be wife, children?
I feel like it should be wife, children, mom.
No, it should be
Right.
children. So you sacrifice your life for it should be children, it should be wife. Or sorry, children.
Yeah, you had it right.
Sorry, no, children, mom, or dad, wife.
So your wife is on the bottom,
Yes.
the woman that you decided to like dedicate your life to, that will be there longer than your mom will,
And create
God
children.
willing.
Right.
So
I can't get
The,
another
wo-
mom.
the woman who gave
Hold
you
on.
your children.
Is it
Hold
safe
on.
to assume that
I
you're not
can't.
ready?
Yeah, right.
Listen,
Right.
I'm a family guy. I got a lot of my mom and dad.
Your wife is your family.
Hold on,
So when you get
hold on.
married, your mom and dad are no longer your immediate family. It's your wife and your kids.
Yeah, I understand that, but oh, what the fuck is going on?
And it's wife and kids, because your kids will grow
Man,
up
you
and
gotta
have their
fix
own
this.
lives.
Right,
You know?
Here,
Exactly.
go. Okay, it's that. No, it's the. Hold on, GH5R. Yeah, you got to leave that up. Okay. All right. Sorry, what were you saying?
So like when you get married, your parents and like your brother and sister are no longer your immediate family. You've created your own.
Yeah, I can
immediate
just get
family.
another wife.
Bro.
I don't imagine that you follow
I
Christ.
can't get.
Right?
I can't. Hold on. I can't get another mom or dad.
True.
Well,
They're the only
hopefully
ones.
you would say that your wife is irreplaceable because you pick such a great one. Like that's
Oh yeah, it would suck for a couple
because
weeks.
you agree
Wow.
that like finding good women is
couple days, I would
hard,
be
right?
upset. I think. Here's my thing: is maybe I shouldn't troll on this. I think, the funeral reception. I should be back on Tinder.
I'm surprised you think like that. You said you grew up with a married mother and father, and you
Why-
said your
why would that
father
be-
would.
Yeah, sure.
I'm
Why-
just
why would that
you
be
said your
surprising?
father would take a bullet for your
Probably,
mom,
yeah.
right?
Probably.
Okay.
But why would he do that?
I think the question is
That's just like the
Romantic. Just romance.
Yeah, he'd probably do it. Why? Just because my dad would do it doesn't mean I have to do it, though.
what trauma have you not worked through, Brian?
Do you feel like your dad set the example for the husband you should
would
be?
it be? Why
Yeah.
would there be like a trauma indication if I'm not willing to die for a woman?
What woman really hurt you?
Yeah, why would that? I don't. How does that compute?
Do you think the fact that they
Wait, hold
chose
on.
yeah
Let me go ahead.
Because right now it sounds like you don't care about that nuclear family and that you're okay with destroying it and that you can handle it all on your own being that single father.
Well, hold on. The scenario is either I die or the woman dies.
Wow, okay.
Why is that a wow? That's literally the hypothetical. So, why would it? I mean, it would tear apart.
So you're
the
just
family
saying
if I
that
was-
women
Here,
are
you
just
gotta let me, you got to stop interrupting. It would tear apart the family either way if one of us died. So what?
So you're just saying we're replaceable, correct?
Well, that's what you're saying about men. And yes, you are.
Thank you.
Well, I mean, in the instance
Wait, but-
someone dies, both ultimately get replaced in either scenario, right? Eventually,
Yeah.
with time, right? So
Would that be something that you'd be proud to tell your kids? Yeah, I pushed mom in front of me just so that I could live longer. Is that something you'd be proud of doing?
Hell yeah. I would tell my kids.
Ouch.
I'd be like, why is it, like, make an actual argument why the man should die. They hate this one.
Well, you said
It's not
earlier
that
you
he should
mentioned
die.
that's kind of feminine. Like, didn't you say that when he like? I see that more like a feminine behavior.
That is.
You know,
So-
like
Wait, hold on. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you guys a question. You're saying it's a feminine behavior.
I see it a little bit more so like that. Yeah. Like,
So, you
because I would think
could-
a man would want to do something like that,
Yeah.
Men would want-
especially
yeah,
to his
because they've been
if he's a
men have been
Christian man and he's
brainwashed. men
He's
have
married.
I would say
men have
programmed.
been
I mean, why do men go to
programmed
war?
and brainwashed, and society has deemed men as the disposable sex. Okay, we send you to war, you die. We don't really care if there's like a terrorist attack. They're like, this many women and children died, but they kind of don't care that there was more men that died. So there's all these kinds of societal narratives as to the disposability of the male sex. So I've yet to actually hear a compelling argument for why men should die over women.
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Are you Christian?
No.
Okay,
Although
so-
I have positive sentiments towards Christianity.
Yeah, so that's the answer.
Yeah.
That's
Why?
That's the whole
Hold
answer.
on, you could be secular and still be like a simp.
No, but what you said earlier, when you were talking about marriage, you were saying that the men suffer through the divorce and the men pay.
Yeah, that
There's-
would also happen to a Christian guy, but
No, I know, but I'm leading into something else, because so you have more of a. I'm more masculine. You're more feminine.
it's not going to work between us. But go ahead.
No, it never would. I would have to take a bullet. But there's nothing wrong with that. That's your view.
Why is it feminine to not want to die? Why is that
No,
feminine?
no.
That's literally what you said. Why
Well,
is that
no.
feminine?
No, so the reason I asked if you were Christian, because a lot of what you were saying, like the Bible, I've never really studied the Bible. I believe in God. I'm more,
Yeah, what? Go ahead.
you know. So in the Bible, it talks about the man protecting and providing. It talks about whatever you give a woman, she will multiply. Like, these are all things in the Bible. So if you're Christian, and a man, you're going to take that bullet.
Yes.
You are going to protect and provide. You are going to make different choices.
Is there actual scripture on?
Well,
Oh, yeah.
well,
Yes.
there is, but without getting into like scripture, there is like a certain paradigm of men leading with sacrifice. The question is, what kinds of sacrifice that are you willing to commit for, from that position? Like from that position, does a man have the obligation within the Christian paradigm to be the first to, basically volunteer himself to sacrifice? And I think going to war is kind of like that. So I guess a better question for you, Brian, and anyone else listening who's kind of like going, yeah, Brian might have a point, is there any? Could you be compelled to fight, pick up arms and actually fight with the risk of death? Like, would it be an invasion? Would it be
You mean
a
the
town
draft?
at the town level? Picking up and being in a war. Like, that would be the question. It's like, is there a scenario where you would actually risk death to go to war if it's local or foreign?
But with draft, I would be forced, right?
Without the draft, that you would actually
like
feel
volunteer?
compelled. Yeah, you would be compelled to risk death for a reason bigger than your own, current state of affairs.
I mean, most warfare is kind of bullshit. So, I mean, I don't know.
I agree that most wars are
I don't
bullshit.
think it would be like, for example, like a draft dodger during the Vietnam War. Like,
Okay.
I don't have any. Like, okay, why were we in Vietnam? That was
No, I understand. I guess it comes down to, is there ever a justified war, I guess, in some sense, that you could imagine? And if there was a justified war, is there anything, situation that could compel
alien
you?
invasion.
Alien invasion, risk.
They're gonna fucking kill us all.
Okay, kill us all.
I'll step up.
Okay.
I'll step up. But if the U.S. government the U.S. government and all these like Raytheon and
Right.
they just want to make money
Right.
by having young
I
men die.
agree. Without all
No.
that. No, I understand.
No.
So the question is, if you were with someone, and let's say you were in love with the woman, let's say you had kids and a wife, and the aliens came,
Yeah.
and they had to choose, the government came and they were like, who's going to be fighting? You would send your wife, or would you step up?
So I have a choice whether it's me or her. Yeah,
She's still going to fight aliens?
Still her.
All right.
still sending her. Man.
All right. So you only step in. Okay. So you only step in if Yeah, but that's weird. In the instance where you don't have a
If I have a
wife, why are you
choice.
still going? You have a choice not to go.
Oh, I have a choice to not.
Yeah, because
do
that's
it?
the hypothetical. Is there
thought
any
that-
scenario where you would actually voluntarily step in and risk your life to fight? You said aliens, but now I just added that you have a wife.
But I thought the scenario was if I don't fight, the world is lost.
Oh, it's just on you. So it has to be on you only.
Yeah, pretty much.
You can make a graphic novel.
I wanna-
First whatever graphic
I want
novel.
to bring it back over here, though. I've still yet to hear a compelling reason for why.
Well,
men
I will
should
say in the Bible, if you're a Christian, Paul says
make a
that,
secular argument.
Okay,
I
well,
would say because men are not as emotional as women. Women are very emotional, and we can become
Good.
unstable.
Good. Let's send those emotional women to the front line.
So I just feel
They
like
can-
also too, psychology-wise, men are more the risk takers.